top of the table battle, and it'll be played before a big crowd of over 20,000 here at the beautiful Adelaide Oval. Greg McCallum in charge, with St George running right to left. Breeze behind the Dragons in the first half, and Canberra will set about correcting the record from their first encounter this year. That's the back line for the Canberra Raiders: Belcher, Nandruku, Hoppy, Mullins, Meninga, Daly and Stewart. And the forward brigade is Croker at the back. Fritz comes in for Hetherington to partner Furner. And up front it's Osborne, Lomax and Walters. 40-metre line for Canberra. It was in that first round encounter at Bruce Stadium. It was our first Friday night for the year. St George, with young Andrew Walker sent off after about 20 minutes, with 12 men, absolutely annihilated Canberra. Here's the George side. At the back it's Potter, Walford, Donnelly, Coyne, Bradley, Blake and Goldthorpe. Blake, of course, in the run-on side today. Mackay's at the lock-forward position, Goulet, Barnhill, and then it's Priddle, Collins and Stevens in the front row. Peter Sterling joins me. Play on the halfway line. St George with their first touch of the ball. And just going through that forward pack of Canberra. No Brenton Pongia, suspended after the North Sydney game. Of course, Brad Clyde will be out for a couple of weeks. So they go in a little bit under strength, Canberra, but they are in very good form of late. Goldthorpe putting the bomb up early. Gary Belcher underneath it beautifully. St George down the ground with a good chase from an onside position. Stewart the dummy half, and Hoppy it is that takes it away. Tremendous speed on the flanks with both these sides. Sean Hoppy and Noah Nandruku up against Donnelly and Walt for George. Saints top of the table. Interesting to see they're persisting with this ploy of playing a man back with the fullback. We've seen Brad Mackay drop back, but today they've got Phil Blake already back there. He's been back there 2 and 3 rucks. You'll see now as Ricky Stewart gets himself in position to kick. He'll go to Potter, but straight away Phil Blake will be in support. In fact, Potter runs away. He ran away all right. He ran straight into the shoulder of Laurie Daly. Now Walford tries to make some ground. Reaches the halfway mark. Here's the tackle by Daly. It was just a straight up and down shoulder charge. Big crowd decked out in their red and their white, and the green and the white. Support here for both clubs. Many of them have come down for the weekend, as Goldthorpe shows it a couple of times before being wrapped up and put away by Croker and Fritz. Saints are running towards the cathedral end of the ground. And here's a bust made by Bradley. Bradley gets within 5 metres of the line. This is the last tackle. Potter goes himself, uses the winger Donnelly, but Donnelly taken over the sideline by Sean Hoppy. A good tackle there from Sean Hoppy. It wasn't from Brett Mullins. Graham Bradley going straight through his front on defence there. He puts his hand straight on his head. You see that he knows he's made a bad mistake. Fortunately, they went the blind side and they had numbers. Sean Hoppy coming up with a pretty strong tackle here on Donnelly. It needed to be one. It's going to be a good clash, that one, between the two number 5s, Hoppy and Donnelly. New Zealand wingers, in fact. Yeah, it's plenty of speed out there with Walford and Nandruku, of course. Canberra's chairman, Gordon McClucas, not with us here today. He's in Woden Hospital, not very well apparently, and Gordon, the club asked me to say hello to you. Lomax. Canberra, I imagine for the greater part of the game, have been on the wrong side of the ledger, territory-wise. And McCallum going in to put a ruling on this. It's a penalty to Canberra, stealing the ball against St George. And another good example of refereeing there, consulting the touch judge as to what happened in the tackle. It was Noel Goldthorpe who was responsible for raking the ball out. The referee went across, looked to his touch judge, got the signal, and the right decision was awarded, a Canberra penalty. They'll now find touch inside the half of St George. 38 metres out now, the tap to be taken. 3-2 penalties to Canberra. Stewart, Nandruku coming in from the left wing. Collins around the legs, Jason Stevens over the top, and Priddle came in for good measure. Osborne. Meninga, short passing. Belcher chimes in. Hoppy looks for the corner, gets inside a tackle, but is pulled down. Goulet, the man that made the tackle, they're only 15 metres out. Stewart lets a decoy runner go. Daly puts the kick out wide. Flying through is Nandruku. Rake the ball back into the field of play. Croker goes towards the corner. He's about 2 metres out. Canberra with a chance here. From Furner, through Daly. Stewart, long floating pass. Donnelly got a hand to it. And that will see Canberra come back with 6 more tackles.
Oh, what a great passage of play there. The unexpected is always beautiful to watch in a game of rugby league, and that sums up Nandruku. The ball looked like it was going into touch. He bats it back over his head, and play continues. Ricky Stewart, the long pass, finds Daly. The kick over, he's kicking for his outside men. A little bit too long, but have a look at that. Back to Mullins, he keeps it going to Croker. And from the next play, we almost saw an intercept by Donnelly, and nobody would have caught him, but Canberra again on the attack, 21 metres out.
So Meninga it is that plays it in the centre of the park. Lomax works as the pivot, then Stewart delivers the pass for Fritz to go up the centre. They're 15 from the line again. St George asked to repel another set of 6 here. Daly using Mullins. Mullins called Nandruku inside, but the ball went to ground.
I think it may have been touched by a St George player, so if that is right, we'll see a Canberra feed. A lot of pressure in the last couple of minutes. There's the inside pass. Yes, it did come off Mark Coyne's hand.
Stewart working the scrum. And again, Canberra with an opportunity. Daly and Mullins have handled. Belcher stands in the tackle. I thought he might have been able to unload, but he couldn't. Bradley dwarfs him in the tackle. Hoppy taken by Bradley. Thought about passing, but they're only on probably the 2nd or 3rd tackle. Walters, Furner, bouncing ball. Goulet comes up with it for St George.
In the opposition, getting a bit of momentum there before going wide. At the moment, when they go to a back line, it's pretty much man on man, and we've got plenty of evasiveness out there, but it's also good defence from St George at the moment.
Mackay straightens the attack.
Hurt himself in that tackle, Brad Mackay, clutching his arm as Goldthorpe drives the ball deep. Bounces back. Belcher brings it back 10 metres.
Coyne making sure that Belcher didn't get rid of it. Tied the ball up and hitched a ride in the process. Nandruku works off Daly. Fijian has yet to see clear space. Just beyond the 20-metre line. Lomax. Goulet's been strong in defence. Always is, though. Walters again with a scurry from dummy half. It carries him 20 metres. Fritz gets it away, but it can't be handled by Meninga. Saints are with it just on their side of halfway.
Steve Walters getting out of dummy half on a couple of occasions, and that's going to hurt St George if their marker defence doesn't improve. They go wide straight away, and Mullins takes Walford in a good tackle head on. But there's poor marker play again. Priddle was at fault. Good ball here, and well, he had that one as well, and it popped out.
Now the Dragons start to roll it back down. Canberra 20-metre line. They've got players on both sides of the park as Goldthorpe turns it inside. Stevens is put away by Croker. An assist from Darren Fritz through Goldthorpe again. Barnhill is working out wide today. Potter is with him, but he's taken 12 metres out from the line. Potter again to the right. Blake, dangerous in this part of the field. Collins picked up the loose rolling ball.
And 6 again, signalled by the referee.
So more pressure for Canberra to endure. Barnhill loses it. It came down to Goldthorpe, but the referee rightly rules a knock on. I realise that Barnhill was facing the other way, but you watch the way the ball is propelled towards the opponent's dead ball line. Daly. George backs up very fast. They're aware that this is the main strike power, Daly. Meninga now takes a forward play.
counteract that. St George from scrums are playing Mark Coyne at 5'8" and moving Phil Blake out into the centres. Coyne, a very strong defender. He's been put there to make sure Daly doesn't create anything from the scrum win.
And Druku with a lot of pressure there to stay in the field of play. Belcher, who suffered a similar fate earlier, was there to help him stay in. Daly, Croker, Canberra bogging down, unable to get it away off their own 20-metre line. Stewart, long pass, Meninga. Oh, he put a fend on Bradley. Now Hoppy gets infield and he takes it to the halfway mark. And that was good running by Hoppy, but a great fend by Mal Meninga on Graham Bradley. Stewart, long pass, Daly puts the kick in. I thought it might have been touched. The referee said no. Potter is back on his own 10-metre line. Belcher, he beats him. Mandruku, he doesn't. Belcher coming back, is able to take the ball for Canberra. Gets away from Walford, gives it to Walters. Walters goes down the track, down the sideline and puts it in. It's a try. Well, that's incredible how it's come about.
Unbelievable stuff, isn't it? A mistake from St George, a pass throw, and Gary Belcher came up with a mistake. He came up with a missed tackle. And in returning from that, he's plucked the ball out of the air. Michael Potter turning, looking for support in Ricky Walford. Instead, he found the opposite number one. He got outside. Well, he went under the tackle of Ricky Walford. Potter's coming across vainly. But Steve Wallace, what a great job for the hooker to be there in support.
Kicking in towards the Bradman stand. He's got a good line on it. Has he got the length? The flags are up. The Raiders lead St George 6 points to 0.
10:35 to 9 on the
play underway. Fritz getting it 15 metres out from his own line. Sean Hoppy. He played a part in getting the play down the other end of the ground, Hoppy, with a good long run. Here's Osborne. Picked up and pummeled into the ground. Gee, there's no beg pardons in some of these tackles. Stewart, a face ball over for David Furner. Gets in and away, turns it around for Meninga. Meninga looks for Belcher but can't get a pass to him. 5 gone. The Raiders with a bit of wind in their sails now. Stewart, taken out by Collins. McCallum, he didn't see it. Thought one of the touch judges may have come in to tell him that Stewart got a checkered passage. Let's have a look and see what in fact happened here. Maybe Ricky was looking for a spot at the academies, I'm not sure.
Well, there wasn't an arm held out, and maybe if he'd have gone to the ground, it might have worked out better, but it was only a half stop as Wayne Collins takes some metres, but
Walters!
Yes!
Steve Walters, he picks up his predecessor and throws him on the ground like a sack of wheat.
There may not be a lot of love lost there. They're vying for the same position a couple of years ago. Collins opting to go to another club. What about this for strength?
Well, actually, it wasn't his predecessor, it was his former understudy, Furner. A strange action, David Furner, but he invariably goes in one side and comes out the other. Osborne. Halfway line. Stewart. Fritz. I'm not so sure that Fritz had his mind on the football. He was looking at the defence.
I thought a little bit of a double pump there from Ricky Stewart, which threw Darren Fritz out a bit. He's going across. Well, no, it wasn't. It was just a simple pass, and Fritz saw the defence coming up quickly.
Again, St George trying to fish a penalty. Oh, well, Bradley's committed a major blunder. Meninga away for Hoppy. Donnelly's got a job on his hands. Hoppy was able to fend him off, and Donnelly is injured as Daly comes away with the loose ball, but it'll be brought back for the scrum.
Sean Hoppy should have held on to the ball. He tried to get a pass away to Mal Meninga once again. Meninga took the bouncing ball in the first place, didn't have the speed. Jason Donnelly coming across, got the ball to Hoppy. You see, well, exactly the same mistake we saw from Canberra for that scrum to be put down. There's the pass to Hoppy. Now he pushes off Donnelly here, no problems. And now looks for support, tries to get the ball away. Out it comes. Phil Blake did well to get back there. St George are let off there. They come up with the scrum win.
I'm thinking he might have been tackled not in possession. Daly getting back into position slowly. He's got some kind of an injury. Donnelly again is okay. Mackay, Barnhill, Coyne and Walford outside him. Coyne's with it now.
Laurie Daly, the end of that movement was taken out fairly heavily in the corner. This man Druku picks up the bouncy ball, no problems.
Walford's with it now.
This is unbelievable stuff. St George, big numbers to the left.
Blake. Fritz takes him in a head-on tackle. Struck for on the play the ball. This is the first tackle now. Goldthorpe. Goulet. 7 or 8 metres from the line. Collins. Barnhill. Canberra's defence really tested.
Yeah, they look like they're about to open up, Ray.
Goldthorpe. Across for Bradley. Bradley away. Potter chimed in. Hoppy intercepts. Hoppy takes it out to almost the 20-metre line.
Oh, he did well there, Sean Hoppy. If the pass had have eluded him, it was a try in the corner for Donnelly. Laurie Daly, well, he was hurt a minute ago and he's taken the ball up where the forward should be. Sean Hoppy gets in between, got the big right hand out and saved the try and got an extra 5 or 6 metres.
Walters again out from dummy half, making valuable territory. This time 40 metres, I'd say. It's gone back into the arms of Phil Blake. Support, it was there, but they overran Steve Walters.
Well, Gary Belcher is still appealing to the referee that he was impeded. Steve Walters again. Belcher's gone back onto the inside. He's trying to position Mal Meninga. I think Belcher was appealing that Mal Meninga was the man who was taken out without getting a fair catch of the football.
Bradley.
Good hit, David. Good hit.
Goldthorpe. Mackay has split them. Last line defence by Belcher. 22 metres out from the Canberra line. This is the last. Goldthorpe. Inside for Hardy. Gets the pass away. Was it touched? I don't think so. It'll be, I think, the turnover.
Yeah, I think it was touched by a St George player, Brad Mackay, knocking it on. He's been St George's best. Been very dangerous. Made the bust. Well, we've got a penalty here. Right, well, not in front of the post, but just to the side. Would have been a Canberra play the ball, but they've thrown the ball away, wasting time. Paul Osborne, I think, is the man being spoken to. And you would imagine they would kick for goal here, and Tim Sheens will be ropeable over that.
Goldthorpe, 22 goals for the year. 71% success ratio. This time he takes the 2 points. Tim Sheens won't be happy. 6-2, the Raiders over the Dragons.
I remember they actually put a monitor on John Money's body during a game and it went up to unbelievable heights.
John's not all that high.
That's true. Well, actually, he was 6'1" when he started coaching and had jet black hair. The heart rate, it was unbelievable.
Oh, there's a rake back for Canberra, but they can't capitalise. They've lost it back. This is Donnelly. Well, a chance was on for Canberra. Walters did well.
David Woods couldn't regain the ball as St George keep the ball alive with only seconds to go to half-time. Back to Wayne Collins. It's going to be a very interesting statistic at half-time as to how many times both of these teams have held the ball for 6.
Barnhill. Saints get the penalty. And I guess they will take another shot at goal. Brian Smith, their coach.
Now, who's going to take the kick here? Michael Potter's got the football, looking to Noel Goldthorpe.
Former Western Suburbs player. Goldthorpe, it's got a mile of distance. What about direction? No. Croker goes running back to them full speed ahead. But Callum says that's enough. take a break at the Adelaide Oval with Canberra leading St George 6-2, and we'll be back in just a moment.
League by turning up in numbers, but they've seen a fairly scrappy first half here. 6-2 in favour of Canberra. Those statistics, well, neither side will be happy. 21 uses of the football for the Saints, 20 for Canberra. A conversion rate of 6, under 50% for both of them. And down the bottom, the missed tackles and the handling errors, there's over 40 combined mistakes there for these two teams. Much too many. There have been plenty words said at half-time.
Black armband on Greg McCallum today in memory of Rich Dick, who passed away in the last couple of days, life member of the New South Wales Rugby League referees and Canterbury Bankstown. And another rugby league identity that passed away during the week, a former Penrith coach, Jack Clear. Our sympathy goes out to their families. Bradley on the end of a jolting tackle from Croker. Meninga got involved. This is Barnhill. He's been probably St George's busiest player, David Barnhill. Goulet. St George trailing by 6 points to 2 as Goldthorpe sends Coyne down the ground. He chips over the top, and the bounce doesn't favour him quite. He's hoping the ball might do the other thing, I'm sure. Andruku out and away from corner in front of the Sir Donald Bradman stand. Canberra with the breeze in the second half. That in itself would be pleasing. Nothing much in this game. Apart from some elementary errors, there hasn't been too many cracks. It's David Woods. Steve Walters on the hurdy-gurdy from Jeff Hardy. Now Daly plays it. David Woods a dummy half. The clearing kick for Stewart. Not so much the clearing kick, but a kick that they can capitalise on, because Potter was there to be put down back on his own 20-metre point, but he's done very well. And that's very ordinary Canberra defence. Donnelly.
Brett Mullins is really having an unhappy game in defence. He's missed a couple of first-up crucial tackles, and that was another one. Potter beat both him and Croker, and now Barnhill makes a good bust. 35 metres out. St George have started the second half very nicely.
Jenny. Goldthorpe. Coyne tried to fend off Mullins. Mullins hanging on to one of the boots. Potter. This is the last. Goldthorpe. Wide pass out for Goulet. Way out in the centre's the big fellow. Ball knocked down probably by Canberra. Barnhill passes. Blake can't handle. And it's going to come back to the 22 for the restart.
Well, if you could put your money on anybody in the St George team being able to half volley the ball, it would be Phil Blake. What about the one-arm pickup here from David Barnhill? Good trailing across there. The right hand goes out. Sensational stuff. And then Phil Blake just can't pick it up. The ball didn't bounce well. That's great work from the back row. Ray just gave him a rap, and why not? Only had to be able to take that one, and he was over.
Woods. Daly wanting it on the left. Stewart gets the call on the right. Just 10 metres out from the corner post. It lollies across the line.
And that's a little bit of sanity back into proceedings. Just settling the side down, getting them out of their own area. A couple of replacements being made now. Rex Turp coming on in 43 for St George, and Tony Smith in 42. There you see him on the sidelines. Interesting to see which players are going to leave the field. One of them is Graham Bradley. He made the mistake a moment ago.
I think Turp actually scored a try in the Brisbane game here last year.
He did indeed, and that try gave a conversion attempt for St George to even the match up. They got beaten by 2 points from Brisbane as the penalty goes to St George. Lomax has left the field for Canberra. And Scott Goulet is the man Tony Smith is replacing, so we'll see a shuffling around in positions for both sides.
Priddle. Tierney. Strength of this bloke, would you, Tierney? Collins. Hardy. George's away record this year is an unbeaten one. Trailing 6-2. And this is the team that has created so. Mackay gets into space. Belcher looked like he might have gone a touch high. Callum disagrees. Play on, this is the last. Hardy, Blake, floats it out, intercepted by Sean Hoppy. They won't catch the New Zealanders, surely. Blake half gives up on the chase. Hoppy goes on to score for the Raiders. 10 points to 2.
And Sean Hoppy's second intercept in the game. One to save a try, one to score one. Phil Blake, the unfortunate passer of the football, looking to get the ball wide. Gum certainly being chewed on the sideline by Brian Smith. Will break his heart and the team's heart as Phil Blake looking to get the long ball out. Beautifully read by Sean Hoppy, and nobody was going to catch him with 10-metre start. Phil Blake tried valiantly to match it with him. It was always going to be under the black dot. In Canberra, they can just do that for you. They can turn the game in a twinkling of an eye.
Towards that cathedral end of one of our better-known cricket grounds, the scoreboard end. Nestled away behind us is the cathedral. And Ferner gets an extra 2 for the Canberra total. They press on to lead 12 points to 2. Not enjoying restarting. Somebody has to. David Woods.
They've had a few chances, haven't they, Ray, St George? Phil Blake had a bouncing ball. If he could have got it in a fairly high tackle, there's going to be penalised. It was Priddle. Accidental. It'll be as far as it goes. David Ferner on the ground. He's a big man.
The size of Priddle. See, that's a tough call because Ferner was sliding in and down as he headed for the ground. It makes it hellishingly difficult for them. 20,246 is the official crowd figure here today, and promoters would be very happy with that. Nandruka, did you hear St George calling? Noah. In other words, look out, here he comes, the flying Fijian. Daly tries to work with David Woods.
Let me side.
Stewart, Ferner saying I'm on the inside. 30 metres out now from the St George line. Walters away from dummy half. Stewart, the rifled pass across the ground. Meninga Daly handled. Mullins links in. He looks for the corner, puts the foot down, looks for Sean Hoppy, and Hoppy goes in for yet another. The Raiders, the machine, is starting to operate.
And what about the acceleration of Brett Mullins? Steve Walters came back to the left-hand side. There was nothing on. He found Ricky Stewart, and they created an overlap. St George a little bit slow in coming up. You can see the winger on the far side, Jason Donnelly, didn't come up, and he got caught in no man's land. Geez, quick, isn't he, Brett Mullins? I thought he was going to try and take Mick Potter on by himself. He positioned Hoppy. A little bit of doubt on the pass. It been a touch forward, but the referee was in a very good position to see it, so we won't dispute that. There's Donnelly, pushed. Phil Blake gets pushed off there. Pass to Sean Hoppy, his second try in a matter of minutes.
2 from 2. One was a glorious kick. Converting the Steve Walters try, it was a super kick. This time, he's got it on the stick. He loves Adelaide. 18 to 2 in favour of the Raiders. And this will be pleasing their chairman, Gordon McClucas, watching back in Canberra. Brad Mackay restarts. Again. Fritz has wound up. It's Pranky. Noticed Paul Quinn in the crowd earlier, former Australian rep. close ties with the Canberra club. Brought a 40-man touring party down here. They've been here for days visiting the wineries and what have you. Here's Steve Walters opening them up again. Oh, not Hoppy again. They'll be having nightmare.
Well, it's a forward pass, this one from Steve Walters. But hasn't he had a wow of a game in the centre of the ruck? Good strength, knows when to run. And that one just going forward, but again, Greg McCallum in great position to call on that one.
Okay, last one. Good work.
Blake. Goulet about to come back into the action.
I do think if they are to get back into this game, then Scott Goulet is the man that could ignite them. It's been a handful of the minutes he's been out there on the fringe of the ruck. Both him and Priddle work in unison, usually very strong for St George. They've got to put something on shortly.
I don't know what tripped Tony Priddle. Hardy. Belcher just watching it and seeing that it goes safely over the sideline. The big Priddle, I don't know what he tripped on.
They ran past the Canberra logo out there on the field, Ray. Maybe everything's working for them at the moment.
They're good to watch when they're flowing, aren't they?
They can really only match Brisbane in that department.
It's almost unconscionable to think that a halfback can need any more advantages in a scrum. You might have seen it then, the ultimate professional, Stewart, complaining to the referee about the St George feet being across the scrum. Think of you blokes, you number 6. You wanted everything.
Ray, it's a tough job, and
because it wouldn't have worried you so much. Just put it straight in behind the second rower's feet. Why worry about the front?
it seemed to work. Steve Walters again gallops out, finds some yards. Laurie Daly. He probably hasn't stood out Laurie Daly as much, but the work he's done has been quality work as the wide pass from Stewart finds Croker. I love watching Daly play. He just puts his whole body on the line. There's no self-preservation in whatsoever.
Have a look at the kick of Stewart. Very high. Welford did well. Stewart's kick was a boom. Way up. And I don't think the Crows would have been unhappy to see somebody doing that right here. Coin. And the penalty goes to St George.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's official crowd attendance is 20,246. We need to have some assistance. Thank you for your support.
The Adelaide Oval is just as pretty as you would have heard Richie and the boys telling you about, as it hosts a game of a different title. It's just as nice as you might imagine.
I might have got a ton here in the early days, Ray.
You?
The boundaries.
Columns now. Yes, well, they are very shallow boundaries now. Made for short people. Tierney. You and our director would have made a great partnership. Goldthorpe away. He too might have done well. David Woods comes on the scene, though, to take possession back for Canberra.
Done a good job, David Woods. Since coming on as an interchange player in the first half, he's worked hard and he's attracted 2 and 3 defenders every time he's taken the ball up. And on that occasion, he worked well from marker. He got him in a position to take an intercept. Goldthorpe found him.
Trophy goes off, and Steve Stone comes on. He's going to get a little taste of this match because he was the player that was in the number 7 jumper in their first encounter back at Bruce Stadium. Stewart rifles it out. Oh, found Belcher beautifully. Meninga comes in from behind. In the centre of the ground is Boyle. Hoppy's on the outside. The pass goes to ground, recovered by Belcher and play on but tackle. Beautiful pass by Stewart.
It's the last tackle, and Stewart signalling to his men out wide that he's going to kick high.
There it goes. No kick is too high. And by golly, Boyle went close. They've still got a try. They've still got it.
David Woods.
David Woods, like a thief in the night.
Oh, and up goes the Melman.
Thrown in for a try.
Yeah, great work again. And it was a well-placed kick too. It meant that the St George players are expecting it out wide. But this set it up. A beautiful cut-out pass. Meninga, he pushes off Tony Smith, not the first player that he's pushed off. Sean Hoppy's pass came back, but it went backwards, and Belcher was able to clean up. And Ricky Stewart, well, he signalled to his blokes already that he's going to go up. St George were expecting it to come across towards Ricky Walford's wing. Blake tried to get there on the full. Very close.
Didn't get a touch. It was David Boyle.
David Woods.
David Furner to convert, keep his record in touch for the day. 22-2, and Furner makes it 24-2. At Clyde, and this is not meant to be an offensive comment to them, but it's the bloke in the number 7 for Canberra that means most to them.
Look, they're a different side with him there. His direction, the way that he can kick the football and just get them down the other end of the field and play down there, forcing mistakes as Nagus has come on as an interchange, cleans up and really makes it great. I think it's suffice to say that they can't win a premiership without Stewart in the number 7 jersey. It's as simple as that.
Stone. Stewart's with it. Everything he does is so accurate. He looks like he's got a mile of time on his hands. Mackay comes up with the loose ball. Saints, they were down incredibly by about the same margin against Brisbane last year. They pulled back to go down only narrowly, I think by 2 points. But I don't think that's going to happen today. That came off a Canberra player, Daly, back into the hands there of Stone. And this is Stewart. This Stuart Langer thing, or Daly was thinking about what he was going to do with it. Stuart Langer thing is so reminiscent of yourself and Steve Mortimer.
Yeah, look, we get criticised a fair bit about trying to push these guys' barrows. Like what we're doing here is saying what we're seeing in front of us, or reflecting on what we're seeing in front of us. It's been another outstanding performance here from Ricky Stewart. I know that you could play either of them in the Australian side and they would do the job. They're just both outstanding footballers, and unfortunately they're vying for a representative jersey at the same time.
Mackay. Goldthorpe. That is Smith. Goulet comes angling back. 10 metres away from the line. 24-2. We're into the dying minutes of the game. Infield pass for Hardy and for Collins. He looks for the line. Nagus has held him up, I think. In fact, he's short. Blake cuts out 10. He finds Goldthorpe. Short pass for Mackay. Stands. I thought he was going to offload there to Smith. This is the last. Blake, Tierney. Canberra with it. Friday night we go to North Sydney Oval for, I think it's their first night time, isn't it? North Sydney against Eastern Suburbs at, talking of pretty grounds, the prettiest of all, North Sydney Oval next Friday. Stone 25 metres out from his line. Ricky Stewart, long run for Blake if he's going to head it off. Way back to his own line. Now he comes off that scoreboard end of the ground. Reaches the 20. A scrappy game in many ways, but certainly it's been livened up and coloured up by some exciting things that Canberra have done in the second half. First away defeat of the year for St George. But as I said to you earlier, this is the 5th time these two sides have played on a neutral ground, and St George are yet to beat them. Yet to beat them on a neutral ground. And the next time they meet will most definitely be, I would think, on a neutral ground.
Yes, talking about the Sydney Football Stadium, that these sides will be in the 5. And they'll need to play better than they have today. Now, that might sound a little bit strange from Canberra's point of view when they're leading 24 points to 2, but they've made a lot of errors out there this afternoon that you wouldn't expect them to make. And probably errors that would be punished more so in a semi-final series.
Canberra's got to come out of it, though, Peter, feeling, I would imagine, super confident of beating St George whenever and wherever they meet again, because Canberra's got no Clyde. Who's the other players? Pongia.
Yeah, psychologically, this is an enormous blow.
Stone rips them apart. There's help coming.
Steve
Walters on its way. Walters gets his second. The number 9 has got a great.
It's just reward. Steve Wallace has been very, very busy out there for Canberra. He's been involved in anything that's been good for them. And that just underlines again the great support play of the Canberra side. Every time somebody makes a bust or a half break, there's somebody to turn to and find. And it's not always the wingers or the centres. On a couple of occasions, it's been Steve Walters, and David Woods has scored from a bomb, having to travel 30 or 40 metres.
And this will be the last kick of the game. It may well be the last play of the game. The flags are up. There's the hooter across this famous ground. 20,000 people acknowledge the victory. 30-2, the Raiders defeating the Dragons. $1,000 from MMI Insurance goes to our man of the match, Steve Walters. The other match results today: Eastern Suburbs defeated Newcastle, Brisbane Cronulla. Brisbane won that game. Canterbury defeated Balmain. Manly, in that important one, defeated North Sydney. And the footy tab dividends, some big ones, and look at pick the margins, upwards of $64,000. The points table tonight, St George and Canterbury, they are joint leaders in front of Canberra and Brisbane on 24, then North 21, and Manly just out of the 5. Next Friday night, we go to North Sydney Oval for a good game, and then on Sunday, one of the big games, Brisbane versus Canterbury at the ANZ Stadium. On behalf of Peter Sterling and the 9 crew, I'm Ray Warren. Good night, Australia.
Sunday Night Football, proudly sponsored by MMI Insurance and Telecom Mobile Net.